Well, welcome everyone, and welcome to this awesome cohort analysis webinar brought to you by Data Science Labs. Hosting the webinar is Kirill Eremenko, a Tableau professional and CEO of Super Data Science. Welcome, Kirill.
Hey, thanks, Roberto. Super excited to be here. Hi, everybody. This is awesome.
Welcome everyone.
We've got we've had the other feed on. We have 200 and I think 17 people online. We had just now. Now it's a bit less. Please post your country. Where are you from, Roberto? How many countries do you think we have today?
Ooh, I think we can easily hit about 30 countries. Easily.
30 countries? I hope so too, man. I hope so too. Let's see what comes in. You, and just so everybody knows, I'm in England right now. Roberto, where are you?
I'm currently in Uruguay, so that's already 2 countries. That's awesome.
We got 28 left to go. So here we go. Here it comes. So I see India, Canada. What else do you see? Brazil, amazing. Indonesia, UK, Nigeria. Hello to Nigeria. It's so far away. India. Oh gosh, I'm not keeping up.
Poland as well.
What? Help me out. Poland. Yeah, Poland. Australia.
Uganda,
US.
Nigeria, Costa Rica, Kenya, Guinea.
Amazing. Poland again. Sudan, India, England too, Egypt, UK. Okay, that's right. Like 12 countries, 15 countries. Netherlands, UAE, India, Burundi, Colombia.
Awesome.
Amazing. Did I miss anything? Do you see any other ones?
I saw Belgium. I saw UAE. I saw Sweden. I saw Burundi. I saw South Sudan as well. We're Kazakhstan as well.
Cool.
We're all over the place.
Man, amazing. Love it. Well, how is everybody feeling? So next question is, how are you feeling posting in here, being here? 183 people, it's 158 a second ago, it's jumping. 183 people. How do you feel being here, being part of this community, being live right now, listening? I personally just had a nap, so I'm full of energy, pumped up, ready to go. Type in how you're feeling. Roberto, how are you feeling?
Well, so far I am feeling awesome. I am feeling pumped. I am feeling ready just to dive into this beautiful content. And for the time being, let's see how everyone who's joining us is feeling. We've got Rahul, who's feeling great. That's good. Welcome, Rahul. Glad to have you here.
Very good, says Rufus.
Awesome, says Shama. Great. Yeah, we have a lot of energy here. That's good.
Amazing. Excited. Awesome. Pumped. Excellent. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Super excited to have you here to be part of this community as well. And yeah, I think we're going to kick things off. So Roberto, thank you very much. Roberto is going to be our on the questions and helping us out if there's any technical issues, and will be probably joining us towards the end to wrap things up. So Roberto, thank you very much, and we'll take it from here. Cheers.
See you soon.
See you, mate. All right, everybody. So next question I have for everyone is I was gonna make a funny joke about something about Roberto since he's left, but he's listening, so I can't do that. I'm joking, of course. What is your level of Tableau, right? So this is cohort analysis, one of the advanced techniques in Tableau. It is going to require some knowledge about Tableau and so on. But nevertheless, I just wanted to understand, what is your level? So let's say, if you could say beginner, intermediate, advanced, just type in one of those 3 words: beginner, intermediate, advanced. How would you self-rate your level of Tableau? And that'll help me understand. It's still going to be advanced content. We can't do anything about it, so it's going to be awesome. But at the same time, it will help us help me understand how to pace the webinar, how quickly to go and how slowly to go. So we have 220 people online. I'm probably not going to be able to read everybody's comment. So we got intermediate, beginner, advanced, intermediate, beginner. Oh gosh, intermediate, beginner, advanced, intermediate, beginner, advanced, intermediate. Okay, we should really come up with a tool for surveys here. Beginner, intermediate. Okay, so from what I can gather, doing the quick data analysis here is a mostly intermediate level. So we will go at an intermediate level pace. Feel free to ask questions. If you're an expert, if you're advanced, feel free to go ahead. So you'll have the data set and you'll be able to go far ahead if you like, and then help out people who are asking questions. Please post your questions if you have them. I can see a lot of people. I was didn't expect that the chat would fly so fast. Thank you everybody for posting. So I will try to answer questions. I'll have like pauses in the webinar in certain parts. I'll try to answer questions then. We'll also focus on a bit more questions and answers towards the end. Roberto, if you could please, because like the chat is flying much faster than I was expecting, if you could please like accumulate the most standing out questions so I don't forget anything, that would be useful as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So what do we need? First of all, I want to share my screen. So let me do that. And Roberto hopefully will help me out to share my screen. 1 second. Let me find where I put this. 1 second. Okay. So Roberto, I'd like to share my screen. This one. Okay. So I should be sharing my screen now. And please let me know. Please give me a yes when you can see the screen. Amazing. So I think I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if you can see the screen. Just a quick yes from the audience. Amazing. That would be fantastic. Okay, and I'm going to go to the website. So to get the data set, first thing, let's get the data sets loading. So go to datasciencelabs.com. So once you go to the website, you will see it looks like this. Click show details over here at the bottom. You'll see 2 data sets, the blue one and the second blue one. So the cohort analysis data set, cohort analysis homework challenge. Please download these, start downloading these now. We're going to have a bit of few slides at the beginning. And if your internet connection is not the fastest in the world, then it'll give it time to download these. So just download these 2. We'll need this one predominantly. We'll be working with this one. This is a homework challenge. If we have extra time, we will start diving into it as well, maybe talk about it a bit. If not, this is a great challenge for you to do at home. Also, you will need to have Tableau, at least Tableau public. So if you have a licensed version of Tableau, or if you have a trial version or student version of Tableau, make sure to have that ready. If you don't, then go to tablewpublic.com and download it there. It's absolutely free, and that'll be sufficient for our webinar today. Okay, so moving on. You're gonna be seeing the side of my face. Apologies for that. Like my main camera is not working for some reason, so I'm using this secondary one. Okay, so lab number 1, cohort analysis. Just a few quick slides, nothing too much on theory, but more of application. So the purpose, the idea behind Data Science Labs, if you are not familiar, by the way, highly recommend following us, because the idea here is to run webinars that are like applicable, right? Applied data science. We want to help you find ways to apply your data science skills and learn skills that you can apply in business right away. Yes, by the way, great question. This has been recorded. Roberto, please, if I forgot to ask, please, could you record this? I'm sure it is or should be being recorded. Anyway, so lab number 1, cohort analysis. So applied skills in data science, what is cohort analysis? And that's what the slides are mostly about. What is this technique and how can it be applied? So let's have a look. Today's lab, there's going to be a few parts to today's presentation or today's session. So first we'll talk about cohort analysis, what it is. Then we'll have a quick refresh on level of detail expressions in Tableau, because we'll be using them. It's an advanced technical or advanced technique that we'll need. So we'll just have a quick refresher so that everybody's on the same page. Then we'll have a hands-on part of the workshop. That's the core, the meaty part of the workshop, where we will solve a very cool challenge for a retail store. Very hands-on, and that's what the data set's about. And then finally, there'll be a special offer. So if you like this content, we will show you where you can continue your learning. So they've got a super exciting project that I've been working on for the past 6 months, launching today. You'll be the first ones to find out about it, and it might be something you're interested in, so that's why I'm including it here. Okay, so let's start with cohort analysis. So have a look at this chart. This is a sales chart for a online retail store, right? What can you tell about the sales of this retail store by looking at this chart? 2016, 17, 18. So you can probably tell that sales are doing all right. Sales have been growing over the years. Like there was a larger growth here, percentage-wise almost doubled in 2000 from 16 to 2017. Then the growth slowed down, and that's pretty much it, right? We can extract the percentage growth and things like that, but that's pretty much it that we can extract from here. Check this out. What if we added some cohort analysis to this chart? I'm going to shift to the next slide and we will talk about what it means. How much more? Just focus on the amount of insights you can get from the same chart with one little change by adding one category field. And that category field is the cohorts of the customers. Ready? Suspense. Here we go. So there we go. So this is with cohort analysis. And this is exactly what we're actually going to be building today. Can you see the difference? You can not only see that they're growing over the years, but you can actually see what is going on. Let's first of all understand why, what do cohorts mean? Well, here on the left, on the top right, on the top right, you have these cohorts by year. That means when was this customer first acquired? When did this customer first engage with the company? And it's up to the data scientist or data analyst to decide what that means. Is it when they first visited the website, when they first registered for an account, when they first bought an item? So there can be different definitions of how you become part of a cohort. But in this case, it is defined as when was the first time you made a purchase. So this is an online retail store. If you are a customer and you first made a purchase in 2017, then from now on, for the rest of your life, no matter what happens, you belong to the 2017 cohort. And you will always fall under this category. If you made your first purchase with the website in 2016, you belong to the 2016 cohort, and so on. So every year, you can break it down by quarters, by year, however you like. But basically, that first purchase determines which cohort you will belong for the rest of your life. And the business will always see you as part of that cohort. And so now we can see a very interesting picture that in 2016, indeed, so 2016 is over here at the bottom. And then in 2016, in this year, all of the purchases are attributable or are attributed to the 2016 cohort, which makes sense, right? Like everybody in 2016, like the other cohorts didn't exist. The store only started operating in 2016. It's another piece of insider information about the store that I forgot to mention. But yeah, then in 2017, you can see that there are sales attributed to the 2016 cohort and there's sales attributed to the 2017 cohort. In 2018, there's 2016, 17, and 18. So cohort analysis allows you to do a couple of things. Predominantly two main things that cohort analysis gives you the power to observe. We'll talk about a third thing. There's three things. There's actually three things. We'll talk about the third thing in the next slide. So the first insight that cohort analysis allows you to see is what is the loyalty of your customers, right? How loyal are your customers? How are they returning? Are they returning to your store? You can see, just if you look at just the 2016 cohort, you can see in the first year they purchased a total of 285,000, but then 134,000, and then 179,000. So what happened here? Why did it drop off? Why did so many people only purchase once, right? Why did they not come back in 2017? Well, maybe they purchased several times in 2016, but why didn't they come back in 2017? And then it grew. So you can, with this, you can show your marketing team or your customer loyalty team, you can show them how they are doing in terms of retaining customers. So it looks like the same thing happened in 2017. Looks like a lot of people dropped off. So 389,283. So like 50% dropped off. More than 50% dropped off here as well, but then it started growing. So maybe it'll be interesting to see, will the same pattern continue? Will in 2019, did the 2017 cohort grow just like the 2016 cohort grew? So there's some customers that came for a one-off purchase, but there are other customers that liked the store and stayed. And will it grow? Like, are we able to return some of these customers that didn't come back in the second year? Are we able to reactivate them? So you can help your marketing team understand, and also customer success team understand how they can improve or how well they're tracking along. So that's the first thing cohort analysis does. Already, boom, right? Mind blown. Second thing that cohort analysis does is shows you how good are you at actually acquiring new customers. right? So for instance, you can see here in 2016 we acquired this many customers in total that spent this amount. And by the way, cohort analysis can be done both in terms of revenue, which is what you're seeing here, and in terms of number of customers, so customer count, right? So here you can see that in 2016, the total number of purchases by new customers, by definition, because the store started in 2016, is 285,000. In 2017, the total number of customers, the new purchases, was greater. So this number is 389,000. In 2018, it's smaller. It's only 271,000. So in 2017, we did the best job at acquiring new customers. In 2016, the second best job. In 2018, the worst job. Something that in this previous image you cannot see from here. You cannot see what percentage, what ratio, what portion of this is actually attributed to new customers. It's skewed here. You might think, oh, we're doing a better job at selling, but really, are we? Like, what has our focus been? Is the marketing team doing that well, really? If we've done less new sales, so we're relying a lot on the sales to customers that are loyal to us, which is great that they're loyal. But the fact that we're relying on them is not that good. Really, the business is shrinking in terms of new customers. Does that mean we've hit some market saturation? Does that mean there are no more new customers? Might be the case for your business or the business you're working at, if it's a small market. Or maybe does that mean that there's a competitor that's now acquiring new customers, and the fact that we have old customers still with us, that means we have value. They value what we offer them, and they are loyal to us. But our competitors are not letting more new customers see the value that we're bringing and become loyal customers, right? Or maybe we're just doing a worse job. Maybe we're doing worse job at reaching out. Maybe we need to invest more in marketing. So this is two insights you can get from here. So just to recap, one is how we're doing with customer loyalty, and number two, how we're going about acquisition of new customers. Okay, and then the third thing is really, really cool. Oh, so here's, by the way, I forgot to say, this is what we're going to be building. This dashboard we're going to be building today. It's going to be fun, right? It's actually going to have a filter element. This is so we have some people from Brazil, so congratulations. This is a retail store based in Brazil that we are going to be creating this dashboard for. Okay, and yeah, the other thing, that's a bit unfortunate, that red box. The other thing is, I was so surprised. I'm reading this book right now, The Lean Startup. Amazing book for those of you who want to start a product or a project. Very valuable insights. Like, I've made so many comments, notes on the pages of my book. I was so surprised. Like, when you get to a certain part of the book, he talks about cohort analysis, right? In the Lean Startup. Like, when I saw that, I knew right away for myself that this webinar I want to dedicate to cohort analysis, because even in the Lean Startup book, he's talking about cohort analysis. He's and this is this is an image directly from the book. So this exact analysis was in the book. It's a bit more advanced here, you can see, but still they're using cohorts. So for instance, here in red, I've outlined the April 2005 cohort, and here he's showing how did they progress through the product funnel. So this is a third use case for whole cohort analysis. You can, once you attribute somebody to a cohort, you can track how they go through your marketing funnel or your product funnel or your user experience funnel, right? So how they go through that funnel and where they drop off, how many people actually go through. So here he's analyzing that in April 2005, there was a cohort of them. So this first one is registered. Let's see, what is this first one in? So registered but didn't log in. So 43% registered but didn't log in. 19.9% logged in. 27.2 had one conversation, and then finally only 9% had five conversation, and then almost zero. You can't even see it, like less than 1%. This bottom line over here in this area chart are people who paid, are users who paid. So you're able to track that, and then you can track that again for the May 2005 cohort, June 2005 cohort. So you can analyze the improvement of your product not just, okay, in this month of the year, how many people purchased and so on. That's one way of analyzing marketing information. This is a very, very deep concept. So you could go and, all right, in April 2005, how many people registered but didn't log in, logged in, had one conversation, had 5 conversations, and paid. That's one way of analyzing. But what they're showing here is different. They're showing here the April 2005 cohort. So of the people who interacted with the product for the first time in April 2005, how many registered but didn't log in, logged in, had one conversation, and so on. And the key here is that these events could have happened way past April. So this could have, so if a person interacted with the product for the first time in April, but then they only registered in July, they will still fall under this cohort. They will still go here. So if a person interacted with the product for the first time in April and then had one conversation in July again or in June, they will still fall into the cohort and they'll be in this red box. So it's very important to distinguish. We're not just building a timeline here. It's not when the event happened. It's a categorical variable that you have at the bottom showing us what cohort does the person belong to, and how is that cohort behaving, that specific cohort, regardless of when the engagement or the action actually happened. It's a very core analysis and a core difference. And by knowing this, you can create charts like this, which tell you a whole different story. It's not just like what happened in April. It's saying what happened to the people who became our customers in April. What happened to them from then onwards? For the next foreseeable future, how did they behave? Okay, and then what about the May people? And so that will show you how have iterative changes to your product, to your marketing funnel, to your user experience, how have they been affecting these cohorts separately? Because if you made updates to the website in April, or let's say in May, then the people who joined in April would have had their first initial experience would have been very different to the people who first joined in May. And you might want to track those separately. So that's a more kind of advanced use case of cohort analysis, but a very, very powerful one and important to know. Okay, so that's cohort analysis. One more thing I wanted to say, cohort analysis is a very powerful technique also for interviews, right? So for instance, we're interviewing at Super Data Science for data analyst. One of the questions that is in the case study and that I personally ask on the interviews is cohort analysis. Can you do cohort analysis? Show me how you can do cohort analysis. You've done the cohort analysis. Okay, let's adjust the cohort analysis. So it's important to also understand it very well. All right, so there we go. That's cohort analysis. If you have any questions, please post them here. Maybe it'll be really cool if you start your question with number 1 dash. So I know that question relates to this first part, right? So then I can pick them out easier. 1 dash and your question would be very handy for me. And finally, a quick refresher. So as promised, we're going to have a refresher on LODs. 1 second. So level of detail expressions. We're 24 minutes into the webinar, so good timing, I think. Level of detail expressions, and right after this, we can start diving into the hands-on stuff. Hope you have downloaded the dataset. So LOD expressions, in case you haven't used them before or you're not really, you don't really remember them, basically what they allow you to do is, if you are visualizing at a certain level, so here, for instance, we've got a map of Australia, go Australia, and here you're visualizing, you're creating a visualization at the level of country and state. And you need some information from a different level of granularity. So that's your level of granularity of your visualization, which is stated over here. Level of detail expressions actually allow you to extract information or basically aggregate your data at a different level of granularity than your visualization and then bring it back. So if you want to go more granular, so let's say you want to go and extract, so let's say you have sales by store, right? So you have itemized sales across Australia, across states, cities, stores, very granular, but you want to itemize it at a city level. Then you would use something like an include LOD, which we'll see. We'll be working with the fixed LOD. Basically, use an include LOD to include that extra dimension of city, go down to the level of city, aggregate your information there and bring it back up. So you aggregate it here and then you bring it back up, and and then you need to add another aggregation. So for instance, you would use a maximum here. So what's the maximum sales per city? And then you take the average, you do an aggregation, you take the average per state. So we're not going to go into too much detail here. If this is completely new to you, don't worry, just follow along with the webinar and then read up or take one of our tutorials on level of detail expressions. And then it'll all make sense. On the other hand, if you want to go higher up, so you want to go to the Australia level, so what's the total sales across Australia? Then you use an exclude LOD, you exclude the state field, you go up a level, and then you bring it back down. In that case, it will be duplicated across all the different states. So this 17.2 million will be duplicated across all states, and then you can use it there. And finally, fixed LOD allows you to go anywhere. It's like, if this is your relative folder pathway, this will be your absolute folder pathway. So you can just specify where you want to go regardless of where you are. And we're actually going to be using fixed, and most people use fixed. It's like in most cases you will use fixed. It's the more versatile one, but there are some specific caveats, exceptions. We're not going to go into that. You can find more about that in one of our courses, and I'll talk more about that in that special bonus once we get to that. There'll be a way for you to get more insights on these topics. Okay, so that, I believe, is all of our slides for today, and we are ready to proceed, right? So proceed with the ready to proceed with the hands-on stuff. Let me just quickly check what questions we have. So I'm only going to read out the questions that are relevant to everybody, that are going to be useful to everybody. What would the chart look like if the years equally? Okay, so that question we can answer later. Can you perform cohort analysis on commodity products? We'll answer it later. What would you suggest should the time period be for tracking users to get optimal? Again, differently. Is it a... Okay, so I'm not going to focus on any of those questions right now because they are very specific to each one of you, and let's focus on the webinar so that we can all get value out of this, so we can all progress. All right, and then we'll answer the questions, as many as we can, towards the end or in breaks. Okay, so let's get to this. So make sure you have this data set, right? Yeah, there we go. So make sure that you have this data set. Let me create a new tab here. So I have my data sets here. As you can see, data set 1, data set homework challenge. So let's open up Tableau. Whoop, let me open up. I have one open here. I need a new one, file new. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. So we've got Tableau. The first data set, so this main data set that we're working with now, is quite interesting. So you have the challenge here. This is what we're going to be creating. We've already seen that. Just to remind you, we've got 3 files. And if you would like to learn more about this data set, then you can go to Kaggle. So this data set is originally from Kaggle. It's called Brazilian E-commerce Public Dataset by OList. So if you just search, I'm going to put this into the comments for everybody to see if you want to click there, or just search this on Kaggle. So one quick caveat, this dataset has been modified. If you download the dataset as it is, it actually has way too many rows, right? So I think I took a subset, I believe, of it, or maybe I didn't, maybe that was in another challenge. But the main thing is that what I did to this dataset is I changed the years of purchase, because if you just do it like this, your cohort analysis will be successful, but there'll be very small numbers for the cohorts. In like some of these years will be small. So the data set has been modified. It won't work if you exactly the same if you download from here. So please use the one from Data Science Labs. But at the same time, the schema has stayed the same. So the files that you have are this file, and this file. So you have the customer data set, you have the orders data set, and you have the items data set. Right? So let's begin by doing some exploratory analysis. Right, so here we go. We're going to take. By the way, there's a starter workbook. You can start this. If you run this workbook, then all of your data connections are already done. You don't have to do this first part with the data connections. I just want to do it to explain why the data connections are done in a certain way. But we're going to take customers data set. We'll just drag it into Tableau. Boom. So you have customer ID, customer unique ID, which is already interesting and slightly confusing, customer zip code, customer city, customer state, right? So this will help us probably build a map because we have some geographic information. Great. So now let's drag in. So if we, let me move this around. If we go to, now we have this customer data set. We want to get to the orders data set because we want to know when was the first time they ordered something. So we're going to connect to the order. So we want to get to the items data set. Sorry, items. So we're going to go to orders, right? Let's take orders, drag it in here. Oh, actually, no, that's not what we want. Back one step. We want to go to data source here, and they're already in our folder. So we want to connect them. So we want to do a join. So you can see them here because that's what Tableau does. If you have a CSV file, it will show you all the same CSV file, all the CSV files from the same folder. So we want to take orders data set and connect it like that. Tableau efficiently connects them on customer ID. So let's go ahead and see here. It connects on customer ID. Fantastic. Seems like that's the only field that they have in common. And order items. Let's put that. Oh, again, I did that again. So we don't want to do that. Go back a step. We want to take order items and drag it over here. And so here it's connecting on order ID. So let's quickly recap. So this will give us the prices, right? So here you can see that there's in this file, in this CSV file, orders. So here we have the customers and where they're located. Here we have order ID, customer ID, status of the order, the date when it was purchased. So all the times, you can see all the timestamps are in here. But then no prices. The prices are in here. So you can see the prices, the freight value, and everything is in here. So we need all three. We're going to get the geography from here, the customer from here, going to get the timestamps from here, and we're going to get the basically the revenue from here. So a few things about this data set before we dive into it. A very interesting thing about this data set is that customer data set is connected to the order set by customer ID, right? Which makes sense, but when you look at it, it will actually be very counterintuitive. So let's look at it. You can look at the separate files here. So if you look at customer, so that's a customer data set. And where do we, oh, here. So you see customer ID is the key to the orders data set. Each order has a unique customer ID. So if you think about it, that is very confusing. So why does each order have a unique customer ID? Can't one customer purchase several orders? What is wrong with that? Why can't one customer purchase several orders? And if you go to order, where is our order ID? What was that? I need to check. It's called OList orders dataset. So we want to check the orders dataset. Orders dataset. If you look here, you will see it says unique identifier of the order ID, and then customer, which makes sense. But then customer ID is the key to customer dataset. Each order has a unique customer ID again. So this part confused me quite a lot when I was first dealing with this dataset. And what's the solution here? Well, if you go to customers dataset, you'll see that, and this is very important for cohort analysis because we need the unique customer ID. We need how are we going to identify customers rather than orders. It looks like customer ID is a unique identifier of an order, an additional. So orders have a unique an order identifier, but then also each order has a unique customer ID. So customer ID is another identifier for order ID. So that's not what we need. What we need is, if you go to customer dataset, what we need is this one, customer unique something. Customer, I can't see it. Customer unique ID, that's the one we have. And by the way, if you haven't worked with Kaggle datasets, they're very cool for this, that you can explore them like this. They have this exploration built in. Customer unique is the ID, that's what we want. This is the unique identifier of a customer. And as you can see, there's fewer of them. There's 96,000 of them versus customer ID 99,000, because that's related to the orders table rather than the customers table. So if we go to the, let's see. So you see here, there's 99 99,441 customer IDs and 99,441 order IDs, which reinforces the point that customer ID, in my view, it's not necessary. It's a redundant field. You could have done the whole same thing with order ID, just connect these two data sets with order ID. Anyway, so this is the real world. By the way, we talked about applying data science in the real world. The real world data is messy, and this is probably one of the simpler cases, and that's why I'm specifically including it here, so that we get used to the fact that we have to understand our data before we analyze it. Not everything is going to be always super easy in data science. Okay, so we have figured out our data set more or less. Let's look at our EDA, exploratory data analysis, right? So we know what we want to look at. And now it's not as scary that we have all these fields on the left, so many fields, and so many data sets that they come from. So what we want to see by year, all right? We want to explore similar, we want to build something similar to the cohort analysis, right? But no, let's not go that far. Let's just start by building this view with the years and the revenue. Let's forget about the colors, just the years and the revenue. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to look for order purchase timestamp. There are different years that you could use, but you as a data analyst need to make the decision. What are we going to be using as our timestamp, our date? Is it customer, the delivery date, the estimated delivery date, the carried approved date? Maybe you could use that when it was approved. We're going to use, and then we're going to use order purchase timestamp. So put that into columns. Here we have it by years. Now, the other question is, we have price here, but we don't have revenue, right? We don't have the sale. Like price is the price of an item, and it's always tricky. If you have the price of an item, what was the actual sale at? What if there was 2 items at that price? It's like, is there a quantity field? That's what you always need to think about when you see price. And here in this order items data set, it doesn't look like we have a quantity field, but there is this number, this numerical field, order item ID. So because it has the word ID, Tableau puts it into a categorical variable, as in it's blue, right? So it's a dimension, right? So it's a dimension here, not a measure. These are measures, the green ones. These are, that's, hold on, I'm getting myself all, this is discrete versus continuous. So it's making it discrete versus continuous. So these are continuous over here, green ones. These are discrete, blue. Then also dimensions and measures. They've changed Tableau to the layout looks different now. But anyway, so we have this price. Do we have a quantity field? This could be a quantity field, even though it's shown as discrete over here, and it's actually it looks like an ID. Let's double check. So we're going to go to the orders items. Where is that? Item data set. And here we will see that we have a order. So what was the order number? How many? So then order item ID, that's the one on the question. Then we have a product ID. What products were in that order? So if we scroll down, we might find something like, for instance, looks like this order, 00F and ending in 719, 00F, 719, had more than one item, right? The only question, what does this 2 mean? And the products that it had were, it's the 2 of the same product. It looks like it. These 2 rows represent 2 of the same product at the same price, right? So let's go ahead and recreate this in Tableau to help us understand what's going on. So we're going to create another one here, and we're going to call this exploratory data analysis items. And we're going to take order ID, put it into rows. Then we're going to take order item ID, put it here. So we're recreating that. We're going to take product ID, put it in here. And then we're going to take price, put it in here. And we'll just make it, it's going to pop up as continuous. We're going to make it discrete. So the color changes to blue. So here you can see that we have the order list, right? So for instance, every order mostly have like 1 item in them, except for some. So for instance, this order has several items in it. Let's have a look. And they're both the same products at the same price, right? So this this order has 2 items. It looks like it, 2 rows. So that gives us a hint to what this order item ID is. It's an actual ID field. So it's not a quantity field. It's like in this order we had first item, second item. Both items are the same, but we still put them separately and separate rows. So in some online stores you would have one row, but you would have a field called quantity, and you'd have 1 row, but the quantity would be 2. In this case, you have them separately. So here's another example. Here's an order. It had first item, second item, third item, fourth item. And this item was ends in B8C4. This one 0078, 64AB, 06B1, right? So all 4 items are different. It just happens that 2 of them have the same price. Again, no quantities. So all the items come up one time. There's no quantities. So basically what that is telling us is that the price that we see here should also be our revenue, right? So there's just price multiplied by 1 will give us the revenue. And that's what we were after. It's important to do this exposure data analysis. So let's go ahead and take price and put it over here. So now we can proceed finally with our cohort analysis. So there's our chart that we are seeing, we saw before. So if we take this here, you see 285 on 180, same number as we see here, $285,180. So how do we do cohorts? So this is the difficult technical part. So if you've kept up to here, amazing. Now we're going to get to the difficult technical part for cohort analysis. How do we build those cohorts? Well, let's look at our customers. We're going to say this LOD. This is a step I like to call LOD planning. And here, what I want to do is I want to take customer unique ID. Remember, we defined that this is definitely the one that we need to use. So we're going to put it into rows. So these are unique IDs of our customers. Then we want to find out when did they make orders. So that is connected. So this data set is connected to this data set. So we want order item ID here. Oh, no, not order item, order ID. That's the one we want. So now you can see some customers had several purchases. So this customer had several orders. Now we want to see the products inside each order. So we have orders ID, but now we have order item ID as well. All right, so remember that it's the sequential number of the product in there. Oh, actually, you know what? Instead of having that, order ID, it'll be faster if we just have product ID. Let's add all members. Okay, so in some cases, you will see that some orders have different product IDs. So here you can see this customer made several orders, and usually the orders had one product. In this case, this order had several products inside, right? And great, but then how do we apply level of detail expressions? How do we find out what's the cohort? How do we assign that person to a cohort? Well, we need a date, right? So we need a date, and you will see that the date field is actually in the orders table. So here we've got, this is the order item table. Actually, this I probably should use order ID. So it's the same order ID because we used it to join. These two are the same, but for consistency, we can just take this and replace it over here. It's going to be the same. So that's order ID. So we can see the date field is here. So the date is per order rather than per product. So we don't even need to go into that level of granularity. We can stay at the order ID level. So to make things simple, let's remove product ID. So we have customer unique ID, we have order ID. When was that order made? Order purchase timestamp, let's put it over here. And let's change this. So you can go quite granular. You can go into day, for instance. It's going to pop up as continuous right away. It might take a few seconds to load. Fantastic. And let's change this to discrete. So here you can see, all right, this customer made several orders. And this is why I like this step LOD planning, because it allows you to see your level of detail expression, how you're gonna construct it. So here you can see that this customer made several orders, one on 16th April 2018, 28th April 2018, 26 December 2016, 7 March 2016, 29th August. Let's try order this. So here you can see that the first order they made, actually let's order it the other way, right? The first order they made was on 7th March 2016. So from here, we can right away say that this customer belongs to the 2016 cohort. That's the earliest order they made. This customer belongs to the 2018 cohort. This customer belongs, out of the 2 years, we will look at the minimum, right? This customer belongs to the 2017 cohort. So, and by doing that, it structures your mind into, okay, what do we need? What kind of level of detail do we need? So our visualization here is at customer ID, order ID, day of purchase level of detail. We actually want for every customer to calculate what was the first time they purchased from our store. What was the first interaction? So we want our visualization, so our calculation to be at the level of detail of just date, right? So, oh, sorry, just customer. We want to just at the level of detail of customer, but we want to extract for every customer, we want to extract the date when they purchase. So, very interestingly, what we're building here, it's quite different to what we're building here, right? So here we've got the years at the bottom, but we're actually, the years that we're looking at are the years inside. So which year did the customer first interact with? So let's go ahead and extract the information. This is where we build the LOD. So we say create calculated field. And this is how we build the level of detail expression in case you haven't built one before. What do we want, right? We want this field, right? So we want to take this field and we want to take, so we're going to remove the date trunk part because we just want the field itself. Of this field, for every customer, we want to take the minimum amount. We want to take minimum. And then now we want to say that this should be done per customer at the customer level. How do we do that? We put that into curly braces. And then at the beginning, we're going to say fixed. Whoops. Fixed. Then we're going to say customer unique ID. We can drag this in over here. Boom. And then colon. So what you should have is, I usually start from the right, from the end. So the order purchase timestamp, what field are we dealing with? We've discovered it's this one. Through our LOD planning, we've decided it's this field. Then what do we want to do with it? We want to take the minimum. We want to take the earliest version. Great. Then at what level? We want to do it at, we don't want to do it at a relative level because relative to our visualization, it's going to be very messy because our visualization is at a year level, but we want to do it at customer level. So we can't really go relatively to this level. Remember, if we go to our, where's our presentation, our slides. So we are building a visualization at the level detail of year, but we want to extract information at the level detail of customer. We can't go down or up. It's like a different dimension, right? It's a different plane. You're not going up or down, you're going sideways. So in order to do that, we're going to use a fixed LOD. So by using a fixed LOD, we're saying, okay, at customer ID, customer unique ID level, aggregate this information, take the minimum for every customer, and I want that information. And then we're going to give it a name. So here's a tip. The tip is on whether you're doing the Tableau exam. So I've been really focused a lot on Tableau exams for the past 6 months. Or whether you're doing it in your own work, I recommend putting like an underscore in your calculated field names because it'll help you find it easier. They'll go to the top and you won't have to search for them on the left. Then what I call LODs usually is LOD. Then I say a min for minimum, purchase order timestamp. So I remember what it was. By. That gives me a signal that it's a fixed LOD because it's by a certain field or set of fields, and then it's going to be customer unique ID. And then I click OK. So now you can see it's gone to the top. And also it's very easy for me. I don't need to go into, if I have like several LODs, I don't have to go into each one to remember where it was. I have a naming convention and I can understand because I built them from right to left. That's how I name them, from right to left. Minimum purchase order ID by customer unique ID. So I remember what it is. And now we can just simply take, so let's duplicate this sheet so we don't mess it up. LOD planning, step 2. What's it called? I mentioned it's going to be a technical workshop. So so far there's not that many pictures, but mostly text, right? So, but that's important. So now let's drag this into here. It's a date field, as you can see, correct? So we're going to change this to day. We're going to change this to the bottom version of day. By the way, if you had issues before, you may have selected the incorrect version of day. We don't want this day. We don't want just the number day. We want the full day. And then we want to make it discrete. That's another thing that often is overlooked. And so now what you see is for every customer, we got this result. So for instance, the first time they purchased was 7th March 2016. And now this value has been replicated for every single row for that customer, right? So let's look at another one here. First time they purchased was 14 March 2017. So this same value was replicated for every single row. So if you go now to, where is our presentation? So you go here, that's what actually happened. So we used fixed, and then it was duplicated. So that value was replicated across all of our rows for the customer, or at our customer ID level, right? So we're bringing it. So what's happening here? So this is another interesting thing. This level, this visualization, this is, even though it's not a chart, it's a visualization. This visualization is at the level of granularity of customer ID, order ID, and day of purchase. So that these three fields dictate the granularity of this view. Now, what we did is we went and extracted something at a different level of granularity that is at just customer level of granularity. So we went effectively for that specific visualization. So we're not talking about this visualization. We're talking about for this table. For this table is built at this level of detail. We went and extracted something that is more that is less granular, right? So it's built at the level of detail of order ID. We went up. So if here is customer ID, order ID, we removed kind of order ID, went up to customer ID, and now it's being duplicated. Now, it's very similar to exclude, but we couldn't have used exclude because the visualization in which we want to use our cohort analysis is different. It's not built at customer ID, it's built at year level. So because we're going to be using this information, this field, we're going to be using this field not in this visualization. This is just a temporary visualization, a planning visualization. We're going to be using it here. We couldn't have used exclude, because if you used exclude and we transitioned here, we would have lost that connection and it would have been gibberish, right? So that's why we're using fixed, and that's why fixed is actually very powerful, because you can use that LOD that you create in different visualizations for the same data set. So that's our fixed LOD. And now what we're going to do is we're going to, basically we have our cohort analysis, right? So how do we know? Well, let's duplicate this again. And here we're going to say LOD planning, step 3. And all we're going to do is we're going to change this from day to year. And then this one will also change from day to year. So here you can see now, this is the years when the purchase was actually made. But here we have the original year. This now is anchored in with our customer. Wherever the customer goes in our visualizations, this value will follow them along there. Okay, and so now let's go ahead and build this dashboard visualization. So I'm going to duplicate this EDA, and then here we're going to say cohort analysis. And we're going to take our value of our field for LOD, and we're simply going to drag it into color. Boom. Voila, I'm going to move this over here. And all we need to do now is simply reshuffle these. So 2018 is at the top, 2017 is in the middle, 2016 is at the bottom. And also you can add year, right? So you have year at the bottom, right? So we want to add, remember in our label over here, we have year. So we want to add the year. So the question is, which year do we add to the label, right? So which year, how do we get the year of the cohort? How do we get that? I'm going to add a border here to make it look nice. How do we get that into the label as well so it's showing up? So I'll leave that with you for a second. Try to figure that part out. How do we add the year to the cohort? But you can already see we have 285, 180, 389, 510, 271, 549. We already have the same numbers as we have in our cohort analysis. So the main technical part is done. We have the cohorts. Congratulations, we can use them. Some little details left. So post your questions into the chat if you have questions so far. So that was the very technical part. So please start your question with a number 2 dash, so I can understand that it's a question relating to this second technical part. Post your questions in there. And in the meantime, try to figure out how to add that year into your visualization. It should be pretty straightforward. And while we, whoa, sorry guys, sorry everybody, hit my microphone. So while we do that, and then we'll continue with this visualization, we'll build this whole dashboard out. It'll take us about maybe another 10 minutes. Before we do that, I wanted to say, move on to our special bonus, special unique offer. So this stuff, technical stuff. Tableau has certifications. The Tableau Certified Associate, Tableau Certified Professional. If you like Tableau and you want to become really good at this tool and build your career around it, then I highly recommend getting the Tableau certifications. Right, so let me show you what these are. Tableau certification. So if we go to Google and we look for Tableau certifications, just in case you're not aware of them, they have 3 levels. There's Tableau servers as well, but Tableau server exams, but there's 3 levels. Tableau Desktop Specialist, Tableau Certified Associate, Tableau Certified Professional. This one is quite easy. If you've been using Tableau for at least 3 months and you just to prepare for it for 2 hours, you'll be able to pass with flying colors. So it's a very simple certification, no problem. You should be able to pass it. If you haven't yet, it's $100. I highly recommend getting it, putting it on your LinkedIn, CV, everywhere. It's going to really help your career. For instance, if you are applying for a job at Super Data Science as a data analyst, you are required to have the certification. If you don't, we actually pay for you to go and take the exam, because it's evidence to us that you know Tableau, you know what you're talking about. But then there's 2 other exams, Desktop Certified Associate. And by the way, this exam, once you do it, you get the certification for life. You don't ever have to retake it. Now, there's 2 other exams, Desktop Certified Associate and Desktop Certified Professional. As you can see, the prices go up, $250 for this one, $600 for this one. These are advanced certifications. Like this one is really hard. Time pressure, 2 hours exam, lots of questions. You have to know Tableau in and out, right? And moreover, it's only valid for 2 years. Every 2 years, you have to renew, because Tableau update the product and they understand that if you want to be certified associate, you have to keep up to speed with that. On the other hand, there's a certified professional, the next level, so super high level. And here, it's not just a multiple choice exam time pressure questions. Here, you actually have to build visualizations. They get sent off. They get marked by 3 independent, separate people, and then you get told your score. So another super complex exam, and this one's valid for 3 years because it's a harder exam, and you have to know even more. So if you are applying for jobs, if you want to build a career around Tableau, I see no reason why not to get these certifications. This one, very easy, right? But even this one, right? If you flash that at an interview or you say that in your job application, much more likely to get the phone call, much more likely to be invited, because that's a verified certification by the provider of the software. And so the unique proposition that we have for you today is, for the past 6 months, actually from December, so more. So for the past 9 months, I have been personally working on 2 courses, one to prepare people for this exam, this Certified Associate, which also will prepare you for this exam, which is quite easy. You don't really need to take a course to take this exam, right? But one course which covers Tableau from beginner to everything. Everything in Tableau is covered in one course. And then the second course is to prepare for this exam. You can find these courses at a brand new website, which we're launching today. Today is 3rd of August, 2020, just launched. It's called artofvisualization.com with a Z, visualization.com. And here you'll be able to find both courses. So this is, that's me. This is course number 1, Tableau Certified Associate. And this is called course number 2, that prepares you for Tableau Certified Professional. And you can see what they contain. 30.5 hours of content, 2 certificates, 2 practice exams. It prepares you for the 2 certificates that I mentioned, 11 practical case studies, and it actually has a guarantee. So I really believe in this course so much that if you fail your exam after taking this course in the first 30 days, of course, terms and conditions apply, read on the website. If you fail, we will pay this, like we will actually pay for your second exam attempt. That's how much I believe in this course. And Tableau certified professional, you can see 17 and a half hours of content, 100 dashboards. We analyze 100 dashboards in this course, actually more than that. It's got 13 case studies, 12 assignments, so more technical stuff, more complex stuff like what we're doing today. So if you're interested in these courses, if you're interested in the certifications, these courses have been designed for the past 9 months. They're brand new to help you pass those exams. Once you sign up, you get lifetime access. And yeah, so we've got some reviews here and things like that. I just wanted to say, so they come already with these benefits. Another thing is, because we're launching today, if you sign up by I think it's by Sunday or by Saturday, basically by sometime this weekend. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact time. I think it's Saturday. Let's just make it Saturday. But if you sign up by Saturday end of day, you will also be invited to a special webinar, which I'll be hosting in about a month, or in a few weeks, on how to pass these exams. So if you sign up this week, you can start taking this course. And then once you're closer to the end, you can join that webinar, and I will specifically give you advice on how to pass that exam, how to nail that exam. That offer is only available for this week. So because you're in this webinar, you have the opportunity to sign up for this offer. So just think about it. If that's something that you might want, then you can get it here, artofvisualization.com. All right. So that was a bit about Art of Visualization. Now let's go back to our building the dashboard. So here, how do we take the year? We take the year. If we take this year from here, I'm going to hold down Command on my Mac, or you can hold down Control on Windows. If you take it from here and you put it into label, you will get the wrong year. You can see 2016 here, 2017, 2017, 2018, 2018, 2018. That's not the cohort year. That's the year of the order purchase date, right? Order purchase timestamp. So let's go back a step. The year you want is the cohort year. So take this year, hold down Command or Control on Windows, and then now you get your cohorts, 2016, 2017, 2018. Now go to color. Now here we used green, right? Where was that? Let's go make this big. So here we use green. Let's mix it up. Let's use blue this time. So let's choose a blue palette, light blue, darker blue, dark blue. Okay, so there you go. So there's your cohort analysis. And now we want to do this, duplicate this, and now we want to just make this a percentage, right? So how do we do a percentage? We click the drop down and we go to quick table calculation, another technique, table calculations, percent of total, nothing changes. That's because we need to go to edit table calculation. Here we don't want to do table across, it's calculating it from left to right. We want it table down, or even better, specific dimensions, and we want the table calculation to be calculated for across year of LOD min purchase. So across our cohort analysis. So basically, and this is another thing that we cover off in both of those Tableau courses that I just mentioned on artofvisualization.com. A very important thing is to understand how the specific dimensions work. So if I click here, it's going to be messy, wrong thing. So basically, the checked box means where this table calculation can waltz around. So for instance, it is allowed to move around the LOD, so the cohort year, but it's not allowed to, as every time it moves across into a proper year of purchase date, the table calculation has to be reset. So let's say I'm the table calculation, I'm over here. Great, I can move here. Good, I'm allowed to move between these two. So I'm taking the percentage of total of these two. But as soon as I jump over to left, to this year, or to this year, to right, I have to be reset. So if I go here, boom, table calculation is reset. And now I can calculate the percentage of total here. So it's going to show us a percentage of total like that, right? So that's what we want. As you can see, the number is not a percentage still. That's because we need to take this and copy it. So we need to remove so this is a table calculation, but this is not. So we're going to remove it from here, and then we hold down Command and put it into here. So there you have your percentages. So you have here you have the dollars. Let's actually fix them up. Let's right click, click format, change this to currency, and remove some decimal points. Actually, let's change it into, how did we have this currency here? Okay, that's fine. We can put like thousands or like that. That's fine. Maybe put the year above. So if you put the year above here, it'll move, it'll swap. Put the year above here as well. Whoa, wrong. Put it above here. Great. And so now all we need is a map. So let's go to our customers. We're going to take customer state. You probably have nothing here. Go to your map over here, unknowns, edit locations. We are in Brazil today. So let's change to Brazil. So our Brazilian friends on the webinar will actually have something pop up because your Tableau is probably set to Brazil by default. So here's Brazil. Let's change this to a map. And let's do some redundant encoding and put customer state. Hold on, command. Put it in here. Put it into label. Boom. So you can change this to, let's say you can change this to number of customers or number of orders or total sales. Or for instance, you could change it to put the price into color. Then it'll show you where the most sales happening. It's totally up to you. In my case, I prefer to keep it like this because it really depends on the regional manager who is reviewing this. So this is going to be a map. And let's create a dashboard. Let's take our map, put it in here. We can remove this because we have the names of the states on the map. Step 2, no, so cohort analysis. So let me rename this. This should be cohort analysis dollars. Cohort analysis goes in here. Cohort analysis percentage goes in here. We don't need this because it's clearly identified what they're doing there. So now if we go back, hide this, don't need that. Hide this, don't need that. All right, so what else? Probably, well, it's clear it's a map. You don't need to say a map. That's a silly thing. That's one thing on this exam, right? So on this second exam, the Tableau Certified Professional, like one of the things you need to know is like, how do you build cool visualizations that guide your user? Just saying map here doesn't make any sense. What we need to here say is select your state or states, or it's just so states like that, and boom, because we're going to use it as a filter. Right now it's not a filter. If you click around, nothing's happening. So I'm going to make it a filter like that. Just click that button over there. Now it's a filter. You can see your cohort analysis works for different states. How cool is that? Then one thing that's annoying is this pop-up. It's not giving us anything. Why do we have a what is it called? Not a caption. Gosh, I forgot. Let's go back again. Worksheet. It's in worksheet. It's a tooltip. Where there's tooltip. Just go into tooltip and don't show tooltip for this map, right? So it's not following us around. Fantastic. So price. So this price is very confusing to the user. We know, we've installed a data set. We know that price means the revenue because we've found that out, that there is no quantity field. But our users are going to be like, why are we looking at price? So we want to change this to either remove the label completely, or we can change this to revenue, right? But I'm actually going to remove it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to format this, and I'm going to change this. So axis, well, where is axis? Here's axis. I'm going to change this to currency. So it's a currency. And then I'm going to change this to displayed in thousands and remove the decimal points. So that way I don't have to, it makes sense that it's revenue, right? It's cohort analysis. I can save some space and I can actually put here in cohort analysis. And I'll put brackets here. Revenue dollars, and here I'll say, because even percentage itself, is it percentage of customers or is it percentage of revenue? So here we're going to say revenue percentage. So here we're going to say edit axis. We don't need the title at all. Save some space, make it more user friendly. Go to the dashboard. Boom. So now you have cohort analysis revenue dollars, cohort analysis revenue percentage. I would take it one more step. I would remove the percentage. It doesn't need that many decimals. If somebody needs that many decimals, they can request that or ask you to change the visualization or something like that. Why would we by default want so many so many decimals? So go right click here, go to format, and change this as a percentage down to 1 decimal point. All right. Don't forget to save your dashboard. Cohort analysis solution. It's actually better to save all the time. I'm going to save it twbx, so the file is included, the dataset is included, and voila. So now if we go full screen, there's your visualization. So now you can hand this over to the regional managers, and I would also change this to a lasso. And so now the regional manager can select several states that they're responsible for. So let's say we have a regional manager for the south of Brazil, so the southern states. They can select the states that are part of their responsibility and can say, oh, okay, in my states, it looks like this is the overall picture, right? Or let's say there's a northern states regional manager. A different picture, right? So the sales went up and then went down, and you can see that the cohorts are actually reducing. You can see that 2016, 2017, and reducing. Again, this tooltip, one more thing I will fix up. I'll go here. There's no need for this. Oh, no, not that. Worksheet, tooltip, remove tooltip, unless you actually want it and you have some valuable information there, which we don't. Remove tooltip. So here, for instance, the regional manager for the northern states will say, oh, okay, my cohorts are not as loyal. Like my customers are not as loyal, they're dropping. If I want to do something about it, I got to start, like marketing better or increasing customer loyalty and things like that. Or the eastern region manager can look at their data set and extract certain insights for themselves. So you have a filter, a map filter here, and you have cohort analysis so people can apply. So there we go. That's cohort analysis. Hope you enjoyed this webinar. As mentioned, this is an advanced technique, very powerful for your resume. 3 different applications we spoke about at the start. If you'd like to find more of these techniques and learn additional cool things and get your certifications, also important point, in Tableau, check out artofvisualization.com. If you sign up, whether you purchase an individual course or the bundle, so there's individual courses or the bundle, whatever you purchase, if you do it up to the end of the day, or it might be like 12 p.m. I'm sorry, I forgot the exact time. 12 p.m. New York time this Saturday, then you will get invited to a special webinar to help you nail the exam. Okay, amazing. So opening up for a few minutes of questions. Please post your questions if you have any. I'd be happy, more than happy to answer them. So I've got the chat right here open in front of me. Let's have a look. Some people have already posted questions. Remember, 1 is for the first part of the applications of cohort analysis, and 2 is for the technical side, what we just did in Tableau. Okay, let me see the questions. Question, quick reminder on fixed function. Okay, so you'd like a quick reminder on the fixed function. Okay. Hopefully I was able to answer that, but once again, the fixed, oh, you forgot the syntax. Okay, no problem. I think somebody helped you out. Thank you, Luciano, for helping out Sally. That was very useful. Thank you. I love it. I love when our community gets together and you're able to help each other out. That's so cool. All right, so let's go back to our cohort analysis. Does the SDS membership give you access to this website? Unfortunately not. These are 2 separate products. Like the reason is this is a separate product, and as you can imagine, on its own, it's, what is it, 30 hours plus 17 and a half. I'm still adding more tutorials to this one, so that's going to be over 50 hours of content in total. And it's just separate to Super Data Science. It's like it has a separate focus, right? On Super Data Science, you can still find courses on Tableau that will help you get up to speed and actually very good at Tableau. These are specifically tailored for the certifications. As a Tableau beginner, it seems a bit too challenging for me. Okay, that's totally okay. If you can follow along with the tutorial and create this, that's totally fine. And then you can read a bit about more fixed or the LODs. Getting errors. Okay, so yeah, Sally, yeah, we fixed that. Thank you, Aditya, for helping Sally as well. Amazing. Okay, let's have a look. Number 2 question here as well. This part is related to loyal customers repurchasing and bring revenue, but where is the lost customers number? That's not the purpose of cohort analysis. That would be a different type of analysis to understand what customers left. Right now, the key to understand is that cohort analysis attaches a tag to your customer. So there's a customer that, you have like 100,000 of customers. Imagine you're Amazon, you have probably like millions of customers. You want to attach a tag to every customer that says this customer joined us in 2016, 2005, 2015. You want to attach a tag so you can put them into the right categories and understand their behavior. This is not about what customers stayed or dropped out. This is about attaching a tag, and then how you use it is a different thing. So we're using cohort analysis here to look at loyalty, to look at acquisition of new customers, and as we discussed in the slides over here, to look at, as per the lean startup, as how customers journey through our marketing funnel, product funnel, or customer experience within your product. And the other thing I wanted to say, this brings me to another point, is that the tag doesn't have to be yearly. It doesn't have to be what year did the customer join us. For instance, in the homework assignment that you will have here, which we didn't have time to look at today, but I highly recommend you check it out on your own. In the homework challenge, you have a cohort analysis by quarter. So it's within 1 year, but it's by quarter. You can have cohort analysis by month. Like right here, they have by month, right? To April 2005, for instance. Here, you'll have cohort analysis by quarter. So it's slightly a different challenge. And when you do it, the data set is right here. When you try to recreate this with this regional selector, you'll feel that, hey, like we can categorize our customers like that as well. Okay, can you please upload the cohort analysis starter workbook to the DSL Tableau so we can access it from there? Tableau public does not allow import from it. That's okay. At the start of the webinar, I demonstrated how to connect the data sets. So if you watch this webinar, if you watch it from the beginning, you should be able to connect these data sets even in Tableau public. So that shouldn't be a problem. But thank you for pointing that out, Lou. Really enjoyed it. Hello from Nigeria. Amazing. Just need to learn more about LODs. Yes, LOD is important. LODs and table calculations, very important. That's the focus. So in this course, we talk about everything in Tableau. In this focus, we focus super heavily on level of detail expressions and table calculations. Lots of cool use cases. Lots of, like, cohort analysis is just one of them. There's lots of other use cases that will, once you do all of them, you'll be invincible, almost invincible in terms of LODs and table calcs. Okay. More tutorials on LOD, please. Yeah, why not? Why not? Look out for more labs from data science labs. How can the map indicate only areas of Brazil rather than show other countries in the continent? Well, because we only have Brazil in the data set. This is a Brazilian store, so we only have Brazil in the data set. That's why it's showing Brazil. Hope that answers your question, Betsy. Thank you so much for the session. The webinar offering for people who buy the course, is it for those who complete the course or even those who haven't complete? Okay, so good question, Arshia. So if you sign up for this, you get a guarantee. So here we have pass or we pay guarantee. So if you sign up and within 30 days, you take all of this course and you take all of the practical exercises, the what are they called? Quizzes. Oh, sorry, the exam practice exams, homework assignments. You do everything, and in 30 days, you still fail your exam within 30 days of signing up and doing everything. So you sign up, you do everything in 30 days, and within those same 30 days, you need to take your exam in Tableau. So it's quite challenging because there's a lot of content. But if you're dedicated, we've had people who have managed to do it in that period of time. You just need to spend like 2 hours per day or 3 hours per day on this course. And then if you still fail, then we'll pass for your second attempt. And that applies whenever you sign up. If you sign up in December for this, you'll still have this guarantee. That's because the course, I believe in that course that much. But on the other hand, what we're talking about, the special webinar on how to nail your exam, that you will be invited to it regardless of if you complete this whole course or you don't complete this whole course. As long as you sign up by Saturday this week, let's just say Saturday, New York, 12 p.m., just to be safe. I don't have the exact time with me, but if you sign up by Saturday, 12 p.m., this week, you will be invited to that webinar regardless. So even if you don't complete the whole course in the next 30 days, you will be invited to that special webinar I'm running in a few weeks. Thank you. Yeah, okay. What else? Can you please provide a discount for this course? Unfortunately, Abhijan, I asked our manager who runs this part of the business, and unfortunately, we are not able to provide a discount there. These courses are already extremely low priced compared to, you saw that the exam itself, how much it costs, and plus we're providing a guarantee. So unfortunately, no further discounts will be available, but there is this offer of joining a webinar. Okay. And remember, like, if you just want to do the first certification of Tableau, the first level, desktop specialist, you don't really need to sign up to our courses. This you could go and do already now with the knowledge you have. If you're on this webinar, I'm assuming they even say here 3 months of Tableau experience. So you can do this. You don't need to sign up for a course. These courses are if you want to really take your Tableau skills to the next level, if you're really serious about building your career around Tableau, integrating it, and applying for jobs and putting that on your CV, resume, and also taking, like, having a holistic skill set from A to Z, absolutely everything. That's what we cover in these courses. And the data sets are really cool. So you'll have data sets from Spotify, Airbnb, Kaggle, NBA, the NBA, basketball, World Bank, Glassdoor, and many other data sets. Kiva, what else? Some other ones, but really cool data sets. I picked them out by hand myself. Under map layers, okay, that was covered. I signed up for the certificates exam only. Can I upgrade to the bundle and still get the discount? Please message our support team, support@artofvisualization.com. They can help you with that. Okay, I think that's all the questions. Thank you, everybody. Please, not please. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for coming here. What I want to say is, please come to the next webinars. If we have another DSL, we will have more DSL webinars. Please come to them. We'd love to see you there. We'd love to help you get up to speed. We're not just going to be doing Tableau. There'll be Tableau webinars. That's my passion. I'll be running Tableau webinars. We'll have Python webinars. Adlan will be running those soon. We'll have webinars on other tools, techniques, and things like that. Please be part of Data Science Labs whenever you can. It's lovely to see this community. And bring your friends, bring your colleagues, bring whoever. We're going to have lots of fun webinars. Can't wait for you to be there. If you're interested in Tableau skills, artofvisualization.com. I'll see you there as well. And once again, thanks so much, and I'll see you next time. Until then, happy analyzing. All right, awesome, Roberto. Thank you very much. We can wrap this up. It was awesome to have everybody.